Right. Shall we call this meeting to order? It is now 9:01. And if everybody would please stand for the Pledge of the Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
All right, if we can just do a quick roll call. Let's see, got myself, David Sells here. We have Todd.
Here.
Andre.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
All right, so it looks like we have a quorum. And so let's move into any public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Nothing as of now.
Thank you. And just to share, we added a link on here that wasn't in the original agenda, just so that anybody who has public comment can go and submit it on this form. And so that is there for people, and it also was posted on our website.
And Roxanne, if they come in while we're on, do we then address them at that point?
Michael's going to notify us if they come in while we're on, and we allowed it up to 10 minutes after this agenda item. So we'll say up until like 9:15, we would accept any.
Okay.
Thank
Wonderful. You. All right. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our May meeting. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to review those yet. And if you have, if we could get a motion to approve those.
Move to approve.
I'd second.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. All right, so that moves us in then to talking about our current and future projects. Roxanne?
Great. So I'm scrolling down. I'll share this list of updates with you. It is a busy summer, to say the least. This is crunch time, and there's a lot happening. So I won't go through all of these completed bond projects today. It's our comprehensive list that we always keep there for people to share, but I know that all of you are familiar with it. The things that have moved up onto here, most recently completed, is the high school marquee and landscaping around it, and then Liberty High School window replacement. The items that are currently in construction at the middle school, we have seismic upgrade projects, and that started in May, and it is a lot of work. Next time that we have our meeting, I'll try to bring some photos to share with you guys what's happening, but we have the gym, the admin building, Building B, which is where the library is, and then Building C1 and C2 that are all getting pretty major renovations. In the gym space, the locker rooms got all new tile in their shower rooms and flooring, and they also, the bathrooms in Building B that are opposite of the admin building are getting complete upgrades, and then also inside the office space. Additionally, they are installing additional seismic connectors between the roof and the walls, and that requires cutting open a lot of the roofs, and then there's major roof patchback going in after that. So mostly all of the spaces are anticipated for the interior-wise to be completed by the time that school restarts. In the admin building, we've worked with staff, and we're going to be able to keep there's a lounge, it's a staff lounge off of the main admin space, as well as a hallway in there. We're going to keep those closed so that we can put in new flooring. In Building B, there are rooms B1 and B2. They're going to be used for kind of a counselor space. And so we're going to keep those closed through the middle of September again, so we get to install new flooring in those spaces. And then Buildings C1 and C2 are going to remain closed through the end of December. Those classrooms that were in those spaces are being temporarily located in other areas, so it allows us to get that work done in there. But so there's a lot going on there. But we're really pleased with the contractor. Things are moving along well, and they're every day. They have so many people on campus, and they have every day since it started. So we're really pleased with the progress there and that we're getting it done. At Mary Farmer, we have our HVAC and ADA accessibility upgrades going on there. So there's one section that has 6 rooftop HVAC units, and the roofing underneath those is getting replaced. So the roof replacement is completed. Just within the last couple of days, the HVAC units were set. Contractor is working to get their electrical support done, which you always bump into unknown conditions in existing buildings, so it's never a dull moment, but you just respond and do the best you can, and we're getting through it, so that's good. And then we're doing bathroom upgrades to the student bathrooms at the end of the hall. So it's a marathon getting to the race line before everybody comes back, but there's a lot of work going on, and we're really pleased with it. So things are going well. Over here on our right, it just shows our approved bond projects in progress. So these are ones that are not in construction yet, but that are funded. And as we're able to, we'll shift them into construction. So we've got a lot of additional phases of modernization at Mary Farmer. The middle school, we probably have maybe 2 more phases left. And then we've got infrastructure and safety upgrades at the schools, the gym floor at the high school, a little bit of alternative education improvements, Joe Henderson bathroom replacements, and then daycare modular buildings upgrades at Joe Henderson, and some minor additional improvements at the Performing Arts building. That's most of the updates for the projects for bond that I have. Any questions?
The Performing Arts building, the upgrades there, that's the high school, correct?
Correct.
All right. If there's no questions, we can move into talk about expenditures.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. So here we are in our, let's see, we're wrapping up this fiscal year. Our fiscal year ends June 30th. So we're in the middle of closing our books right now. We give it another month or so. So we just kind of take a snapshot at June 30th, what we have so far to date. There'll be some other invoices and things that trickle in, and we'll wrap that up with our next meeting, but we'll go ahead and report out as of, when this report was put together, our expenditures through June 30th. And so we have up here our summary page. We have our revenues kind of on the left side, and then the last column is our expenses there. So we keep our prior fiscal years up there in the top half for all of our prior years listed. And then down in that center section there, we go ahead and split that out by quarter as we meet each quarter. And so we're right now here in that this last quarter of the fiscal year from April 1st to June 30th. Like I said, we'll come back after we officially close the books and add whatever else is trickled in between now and then. And so we're at $1,450,000 that we spent as of now for this fourth quarter. And so if we add up all those expenditures in the prior years and this current year, so we're right at 35.9 million. So we're almost fully, we're on our way to being fully spent of our bond funds. That column just to the left there where we add up all of our revenues, which is basically our our bond proceeds and interest. So we're at about 51.5 million. So, and the difference between those two, the 51.5 million that we have and the 35.9 that we've spent so far, those are what for the remaining projects that we've committed to. And Roxanne referred to that in her previous slide, and we've gone ahead and kind of summarized those here at the bottom for our commitments remaining as of June 30th. And really, what Roxanne mentioned earlier, what's going on right now during this summer of 2021 is, the middle school seismic, and a big part, or one of the first step in the Farmer elementary school modernization. And so really what's left for these funds is to continue those two big school projects. We've got a laundry list there, of 8 or so other projects that we're going to do, including some security upgrades at all the school sites. But a majority of the remaining funds are committed to Farmer Elementary School, about $8 million. And then in addition to seismic work at Binisha Middle School, there's also about $1 million to do another phase or part of a phase there at the middle school. So we all drive by the middle school and see that first phase was the front of the office and some new classrooms. So yeah, there you have it. We've started several years ago with this current bond for Binisha. We've done a bunch of great stuff, and now we're kind of heading into the home stretch with these 2 big projects left. And so we'll be after today's meeting, we take this information back to the school board. We let them know where we're at and what we have left to do, and we definitely have more to do. So we'll be talking at the district level, kind of what maybe some next steps might be after these projects are completed and these funds are spent. So Roxanne's done a great job of working with our facility funding consultant, and we're at about $10 million plus that we're also getting from the state of California. Is about $10 million, Roxanne?
Yeah, that's correct. And it's targeted, it's only eligible for facilities improvement. So we're super excited about that. It'll give us an opportunity, in addition to our $15.6 million that's budgeted here, to keep going with some other projects for our schools. So we're super excited about that.
So we can, we're definitely really excited about being able, the state of California, how they provide school facility fundings to the schools is they require school districts to match, to make contributions towards facilities. And we definitely done our local Binisha bond that we've used to submit to the state, and that will count as our match to get that 10 million plus from the state. So we're really happy about that. So today we'll kind of go through our list of quarterly expenditures. It's in yellow there.
Hey, Tim, can I ask a question real quick of either you or Roxanne?
You bet.
Just looking at the projects, have we seen any major changes, increases, change orders as a result of the significant increase in construction costs during COVID?
So right now, to date, our most current projects that we bid were the middle school seismic project, which bid in April. And that came in really, really close to what our engineer's estimate was, which was created, a couple years earlier. So we were really happy with that. And Mary Farmer for the HVAC unit and the roofing project there and the ADA upgrades, we were not surprised at where that cost came in either. So knock on wood, so far we pre-qualified our contractors, and we have a group that we feel are really good, but they've also been quite competitive. Hoping that's not going to change in future stages, but it will be, to be determined. I've definitely seen, for example, at Liberty High School, we replaced the windows, but then we're also doing new window shades. We ordered them like last April, and initially they said they'd be here in May, and then it was June, and then July, and all of a sudden we didn't even know if we were going to get them. So there's definitely problems getting materials. I did just get confirmation yesterday, finally, that we're going to get the shades in time for installation before school starts over there. But so we are definitely realizing and seeing impacts on availability from materials. I know that the price of wood has really skyrocketed, but we'll just have to keep navigating that and see how it comes in. When we budget, we usually put 10% additional above what the engineer's estimate is for unforeseen conditions or project contingencies. We're always hopeful that we don't have to use all that, and then we can roll it over to availability for other projects, but we try to do that to give us, you have to have some allowance to cover things.
Okay, good. That's fortunate.
Yeah.
So as we go down our quarterly expenditure list there, it's kind of in the middle there. It says Q4 at the top. It's, if you can see the color, it's that yellow shade. And so listed by site and project off to the left-hand side. And this first one is some district-wide HVAC work throughout the district from Kilowatt Engineers 3,164. We list all the projects that we've done over time. Obviously, if they're inactive or complete, that column is 0, which you see a lot of zeros. So we'll just have Roxanne scroll down to the numbers unless you have some questions. So then we get into our Mary Farmer Elementary School, which again, it's there's a big kind of the first phase of construction going on there. It's kind of in the front of the campus. As you walk the admin building, there's a wing of classrooms off to the right. So you might see some activity if you ever drive up that way. And so we have Anthony Patrick. He's our inspector of record at $3,960. Down below, we do tap into RGM Kramer for assistance with Roxanne and project management, $1,805. And Matrix is our main, or one of our, is that our main HVAC contractor on this one, Roxanne?
No, the main contractor is Bell Air Mechanical, but we have worked with Matrix a lot. And so we hired Matrix to do a scope that's not included in Bell Air Mechanical's. Bell Air Mechanical is working on the wing. When you first walk in to your right, they're on that wing. But before we had even gone to bid, we had identified a scope in the back of Mary Farmer to clean all of the ducts and do repairs. So it's back towards, we call it the great room. If you walk in the main doors and go all the way down the hall to the end, it's that part of the building. And so it is improvements to increase their air quality within those spaces, clean out all the ducting, and then servicing the HVAC that supports them. So that was a separate contract that was let before the other one was bid.
Okay, thanks. And as we scroll down, some more completed projects on this page 3, going into page 4, looks like more completed projects. And then onto this next page, which is our Binisha Middle School campus modernization. So with perimeter fencing, Crusader Fence, $25,992. This is the same company that did the fencing along the front of the campus. There were a couple on campus in the back and side areas that needed fencing for security. So we added that in the same type of design as the front. Also, our architects, HY Architects, paid them $891. Down there at the bottom, we have some HVAC related items for acoustics, RGD, $5,045. Some HVAC supplies with Geary Pacific, $246, and American Leak, $450. Plumbing. We're experiencing a few leaks. The good news is we're able to detect it pretty quickly, and we found partnering with American Leak is they've been the ones that have really stepped up to help us find it quickly and get a solution in place there. So there's a lot of we've been around for a while, and as facilities and plumbing's age, the middle school is one of our areas that we're trying to just kind of pinpoint all these types of issues. So we're fortunate to find them to help us with that. And then we do carve out under this next section the seismic project at Binisha Middle School, because that's really considered its own separate project there. And we are using the same architect as the main campus modernization architect, HY. So $74,522 for the seismic project. Again, some construction management with RGM Kramer at $5,095. J. Walt is our main contractor. So their contract just at $3.7 million. So they're making really good progress. Like Roxanne said, they have a big crew on site, I think every day. And all of us that are in construction know that's a very good sign when you see people on site. So they've been paid $1,027,693. Again, our inspector of record, which we're required to have by the state of California, Anthony Patrick, at $23,880. And as we go scrolling down to see if there's some other small projects that we've done this past quarter. Yes, our Binisha High School marquee and landscaping. So this isn't just limited to that front area. There were some also adjacent areas that we wanted to take care of as well. So HY Architects with the design at $2,464. Vanden Boss Electric is the main contractor on that project for not only the marquee electrical and installation, but the landscaping project as well at $114,729. DFE is also an inspector of record for that project at $2,280. Geocon Consulting for soil engineering with all that, the heavy marquee and whatnot, $1,065. And then during this project, we did switch to Anthony Patrick as the inspector of record at $4,200. And we're getting close to the end. What do we have here? Here's the Liberty High School project for windows. We used Capital Glass. They're out there in the Binisha Industrial Park. So we were able, I believe that's the last bank of windows needed to be replaced there at Liberty High School. We've kind of done that over the year. So that's at $67,606. Some miscellaneous supplies to Miss Egan at $601. And also some workshops and maybe some online webinars, $314 for Miss Egan. Blueprint Express, we're really happy to continue using them for our plans. With our contractors can do all of that and get all access to all of that online. We did get what we do at the beginning of the years, we do, this next one is actually a credit of $8,360. We do a retainer with our legal firm for contract review and whatnot. And we split that between the bond fund and the general fund. But at this point, we were using, we only charge off to the bond fund, which is actually bond legal. So we credited back that dollar amount and moved that over to the general fund. So doing really well on contract review and legal costs, keeping those very minimal. Some postage with Miss Egan at $380. Down below there's a line for Verizon cell phone at $158. We do have, we are required as the bond program to have its own separate audit. And so James Marta CPA is auditing that. So $1,800 there. Our salary and benefits for our bond director for the quarter at $45,059. And I think that takes us to the grand total for the quarter at this point in time of the $1,450,470. So I apologize for those columns off to the right. Looks like the columns got shrunk. So we can fix that for you guys and resend those out so you see the grand totals. But our task today is to review and ask you guys to review if you have any other questions and approve that expenditure list.
All right, are there any questions for Tim?
Hey, Tim, and everybody. Hi, this is Charles. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Sorry I was a little bit late. I think I had the wrong link. I had a quick question just to reiterate to the group to see if they know. So, Tim, you mentioned that additional $10 million that is available to us for bond projects. Or Roxanne, would you mind taking just a minute to tell the group how those dollars came to us on top of the approved Measure S, and then what process will we use to allocate those dollars?
Sure. So It's called Prop 51, and it's state monies that are a grant program. And it's really kind of a complicated process, but every year the state, it's a big kind of matrix, but you have an evaluation of your existing buildings and facilities and how old they are. And based on that, you'll get a certain amount of eligibility for the state grant funds. You do have to have matching funds, but for example, we already did some improvements, and so those will count as our matching funds if we haven't already used them as matching funds for state projects. So every year you reapply again and you have your facilities reevaluated because they would have aged when you're older. So last year when we looked at it, your eligibility level might have been at X, but this year it might be X plus 2 because your facility's got a couple of years older, so you have additional eligibility. So we go through a process with, it's actually quite arduous, but submitting information about our facilities and all the improvements we've had, and sometimes they want copies of contracts and prior construction projects and all kinds of stuff. So it is a lot of work, but we do it, and gladly and gratefully that we have that opportunity to get some money. So we've been working on these applications really for since I've been here, the past 6 years, and are just really pleased to see these coming to fruition. So out of the 10 million, you get like initial approval, and then you go through another step where you're approved but not funded, then you get on the funded list, and then when the state sells bonds, you actually get the money in your checkbook. So most of the $10 million we are expecting to receive by the end of this year, December, I'd say prior to December. We've received about half of it already, and the other half we're in line once the state issues that funding. Additionally, we also have submitted, and part of that 10 million, no, it's not part, it's in addition to it. We've submitted applications for seismic matching monies, which will help us as well there. We are in the review process, but we are quite confident that we will be granted it, and it would also be up to 50% of our seismic cost. So with that, we used our facilities matrix. We have a matrix that we did a master plan for all of our sites, identifying the need district-wide and prioritizing it, because we know we have a lot more need than money. And so we needed to have a way to say, here's what projects are going to get funded first. And then as we get more money, it's not just bond money, but whatever money we get, we use that to guide us. It's not an absolute. Sometimes things happen that make you reconsider what was listed there, and things might get reprioritized. But we did a lot of work in the beginning and a lot of research at every site, and even meeting with all the stakeholders and everything. So we continue to use that, and it's a great guiding tool. So as we have gotten these additional monies, we have it's called a facilities steering committee, which is a committee that was formed with members. There's some members who represent the elementary schools. There's members who represent the high school. There's IT and maintenance and admin, myself and Tim and Charles. So it's a group of people who collectively talk about, here's some money. We bring to that group representations on, or suggestions on, here's our next money that we have available, and here's where we think it should go. But everybody gets to talk and review it and say, yeah, I agree with that, or no, it seems like maybe we should do something different. So the group votes on it, and then once that happens, we take those recommendations to the board and share them with the board for the board's input as well. So we went through all that process with our additional $10 million that we're going to receive, and have highlighted some monies for projects. So the additional monies that are allocated, I'm speaking from memory, so it'll be close, it might not be exact, but we have some additional monies allocated for the middle school for their seismic project, for matching monies that we know we're going to need, and the modernization. We have quite a bit for Mary Farmer. It will not fully fund all of the remaining work that needs to be done there, but it will certainly help us. It takes their total project budget to like 11.6 million. We have about $1 million targeted for the high school for additional improvements in their learning spaces there. We've got $1 million targeted for Matthew Turner. for HVAC upgrades there, and then some new roofing. And we have about $2 million targeted for Robert Semple to start on, really campus modernization and upgrades. There's a lot of work that's going to still need to be done at Mary Farmer. But once we start rolling through that, our next really big area of need is Robert Semple. So we feel like that's pretty excited about having that opportunity to do those things.
Excellent. Thank you, Roxanne. That's great. Great reminders.
Thank you, Roxanne. Any other questions? All right. If we are good with that, could we get a motion to approve the expenditures as presented?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Excellent. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? All right. Expenditures approved. And I think that kind of brings us to comments here. Any comments from the board? The committee members?
No, I had asked the question earlier about the construction costs and any surprises or increases, and with the availability, Roxanne, are there any project other than construction costs, any major surprises as we've gone through this? Has there been a project that we thought was, we budgeted X and it ended up being X plus, 50%? Any major surprises?
I wouldn't say that there's been anything along the lines of 50%. What we have encountered is that sometimes the scope, as was initially defined, maybe it didn't include things that you get into construction, you're like, we really need to address this, we should do it. Or sometimes unforeseen conditions. So at the stadium, we expanded our budget. I'm speaking from memory, but I'm going to say maybe 25 to 30% above what was originally allocated, because there were things up there that needed to be addressed. And so we did that. And but mostly, so stadium, the middle school's been second. The middle school, we're not at the end of it yet. So, we're doing it piece by piece, but most of our stuff has come in really reasonable, and we're really pleased with where it's at. We've also been really fortunate that maintenance, they've jumped in and did some of the painting work up there, which helps our budget. They're also doing a little bit of flooring replacement here and there. So I think, we just keep trying everywhere we can to look for monies that help us do what we need to, and just really make it valiant efforts to get there. So mostly I think we've got pretty good news. And when we need to adjust and redirect, we do that. But I think that it's always a conversation, and just wanting to make sure that we get the best product at the end, because sometimes it's better to adjust the budget and let it ebb and flow than hold it and then end up with a compromised end product.
Good. Great. Thanks.
Sure.
Roxanne, as we get this additional seismic money and the state grant money, is that going to change any of the remaining commitments that we have for the Measure S?
No. So our remaining commitments on Measure S, we set those and prioritized them and allocated those. So we will continue to do those first and use the monies from Measure S as we said we would. We don't want to change that. We feel that could, be looked upon poorly, even if we were like, oh, we're going to do it under Prop 51 money. But so all the things that were identified under Measure S will still be prioritized and completed under Measure S. And then the Prop 51 projects will be tracked separately.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions? All right, I guess we need to schedule our next meeting.
Yeah, quick comment on that, David. So our understanding right now is the state is leaning towards, I think it's more of a requirement or a mandate for in-person meetings. However, we're going to follow that closely and see if there may be an option if we have to do an in-person, whether or not we can also offer an online option for committee members. And so we will we'll keep you guys informed. Just wanted to share that with you that we might be required to do an in-person with at least maybe one committee member at our next quarterly meeting, which let's see, would be kind of towards the end of October. So we'll monitor that. If you guys are not interested in that option, let me know. But if we'll go ahead and pursue it anyway, because it'll impact all of our public meetings, and we'll let you guys know.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So let's see. Today's a Wednesday. I know we've kind of gone. We usually do Tuesdays or Wednesdays in October.
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You had Andre panicking with his flight.
Oops. Okay. There you have it. Okay. So let's see. How about let's see. What did I say? October 26th is the last Tuesday in October. If that is okay for now, we can book that at 9 o'clock.
Good with that.
I actually have a conflict there. I don't know if like the week before would work.
We can do the 19th.
Would that work for everybody?
The 19th works for me.
Yeah.
Good. Roxanne, you good with it?
Yes, I should be good with that. Thank you, Mark.
Okay. That would help.
Okay, great.
All right. If there's nothing else, then I think we can adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate your time and support in our projects.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks all.
everyone.
Have a good one.
Have a great day, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.